So in Harry Potter, do you think that they have a spell that, because there's already a potion that can make people horny. That exists. Before anybody jumps on me, that exists. Okay? Do you think they have a spell that makes people need to go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
They have it's like, now you have to poop.
Yeah.
And why didn't they use that against the Death Eaters?
Yeah, it's probably like a violation of something.
What? A violation of what? Your
I
butt?
don't know. Decency?
Decency?
Yeah.
You have a spell that kills you.
Yeah. Why
isn't the fourth unforgivable curse the pooping curse?
Why wouldn't you just kill someone and instead make them poop?
Because it'd be really funny.
No.
And it would be debilitating enough to where they'd be like, oh shit, I have to leave this battle because I just shit myself.
Jack, what do you think?
I think we all kind of agreed during one of the Avnia streams that the fourth deadly curse was Power Word Nut.
That's true. Oh, Power Word Nut would be equally as bad. Well, it wouldn't be that debilitating. Maybe some of the Death Eaters would be like, oh yes, and they would like give them the boost they needed.
Yeah.
But if they shit themselves, they're gonna be like, fuck.
No, I feel like a lot of those bastards spend some time in Azkaban and they just don't care anymore.
Oh, they just shit themselves.
I mean, they live in like a cell. They don't get to go anywhere. They probably just shit wherever.
They're just flying around, just shit.
Well, they don't get to fly in Azkaban.
They fly around though.
Not in Azkaban.
But they do fly around.
Sure.
How do they fly?
Brooms?
Oh, that's right. I forget they're on brooms.
Yeah.
They just shit all over their brooms.
I guess.
I mean, you've got a system to clean it up just right there.
Right,
just whoosh, whoosh,
Yep.
sweep it up.
Jack is on the podcast, everybody. Yay!
Hello.
Hi,
It's Jack. Jack, who the heck are you?
Well, it all started when I was born. I am Jack O'Leary. I appear on Adventures of Avnia as Jeremy Fleetfellow, the Halfling Cleric. I've appeared in a couple one-shots as oh gosh, who are my one-shot characters? I was Tuffy, the Loxodon Bard.
I was about to say the only one I can remember is when you were an elephant.
And I also played Tiramisu in Sunder for a single episode. And yeah,
I think you were there for 2 episodes.
I was going to be, but then something came up for the second episode, and I couldn't make it, unfortunately.
That's right,
But just having the one episode was really fun.
Play games and stuff with us. And,
yeah.
Just generally.
I've run some one shots.
Jack's like, you gotta cut that part out, Jacob. I'm not your friend.
I've run some one shots. The one that is currently on the channel is not very good. The other Eberron one shot that I ran for you guys is way better. And unfortunately, no record of it exists.
Yeah, I know. We just played that one. We didn't stream it or anything. That
was
one was
fun,
so
though.
fun.
It was
For
really
those
fun.
of you who don't know, which is everybody, me and Craig and Jordan and Grace played. Did we have who else? Did Colton play in that?
No, it was just the 4 of us, or 5 of us if you could.
It was
count
you
me.
and you DM'd me, Jordan, Craig, and Grace. And
Yes.
we played an Eberron one shot that Jack ran, and it was so fun because we were like a suicide squad that went into the Mornland, and we like fought a giant robot with another giant robot, and no, we fought like a giant
You fought the
Tarrasque
Tarrasque
creature.
with
We fought a
with the giant
Tarrasque.
robot.
I didn't know if it actually was a Tarrasque or not.
No, it was
just a Tarrasque.
It was a Tarrasque. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. We fought
And-
a Tarrasque in like a giant robot mech suit.
Yeah,
and
in
it
a
was so cool.
Warforged Colossus, and I learned a lot of things running that one shot. Mostly the one that surprised me was the fact that Tarrasques are not immune to being knocked prone. Tarrasques can be knocked prone.
We knocked it over at one
And
point.
well, that's the thing. One of the things about the Warforged Colossus is that 2 of its 4 attacks. I think I gave it 5 just to give it a little extra beef because it's a little weaker than the Tarrasque. Is that it has these Eldritch cannons that it's when it strikes a target, it immediately knocks them prone. And so the whole battle was kind of hinging. Each turn was like, let's see if we can knock the Tarrasque prone, so that we can get advantage on the melee attacks to slam it
and stepping on it,
like stab it with the Spear of Galifar and slam it with the shield. It was a really fun adventure.
Super cool.
Yeah,
You like Eberron. Right?
I love Eberron.
I saw your latest tweet.
My
which
latest
is something along the
tweet,
lines of you really liking to make Eberron characters and having no Eberron campaign to play in.
Yeah, it's
the struggle. Yeah. Eberron's great.
It is
Before we
great.
jump into more conversation, though, today, as our little special thing that we're doing on the Arcane Launch podcast, we all have some Legos. Jack also
Yes.
has some Legos, and Craig also has some Legos. And today we're gonna today we're gonna be competitively building these
Oh, boy.
Legos to see who can build them the fastest. But also, we're all friends, and who cares?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna win. But so while we're talking, while we're doing some stuff, we're gonna try to be building these Legos and seeing who can. Your time starts now.
Oh, shoot, really?
These all have about 100
shouldn't we
pieces.
like share? Well, first, actually,
Oh,
I want to
yeah,
say
yeah.
I did have to turn down my input volume because I noticed that for like the past few minutes, my audio has just been peaking all over the place, and my input
Well,
volume
now
was at
you
like
sound
maximum,
fantastic.
and now
Oh.
and now I've turned it down to like 75%, and now it's like normal. So
Okay, cool.
It'll
Yeah.
RIP microphone or headphone users for the first part of this podcast.
Sorry,
but I
guys.
think it should be fine now. But yeah, are we gonna
Yeah.
share like what?
Oh yeah,
sets we
so
have?
mine is Han Solo with the tiny Millennium Falcon.
It's like chibi Han Solo.
Yeah, little Han Solo, little Lego
Lil
Han
Han.
Solo. He's like as big as the Millennium Falcon, so it's pretty crazy. What's yours, Spencer?
Mine is that scene in Prisoner of Azkaban where Harry Potter watches his godfather almost die, getting his soul sucked out of his body.
Hell
Yeah.
That scene.
You know.
Yeah,
And Jack, what are yours?
I have the wizard battle between Gandalf and Saruman from Fellowship
they're
of the
like,
Ring.
"Ah!"
When the old man fight where they go,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and,
And
like,
you hear that across the floor.
you know, they
Yeah.
call it like a wizard fight. It's really just like a telekinesis fight. Like they
It
don't
really
even
is.
use
There's
anything
blasting
other
for
than like
force damage.
yoink. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
And Craig, what's yours?
I have Mandalorian, and more importantly, Baby Yoda.
You have Baby
Yeah.
Yoda, yeah.
Yeah.
Lil,
So they're
Lil
each
Grogu.
100 pieces.
I'm only doing Baby Yoda.
Yeah, just do
Yeah.
Baby Yoda
I only
because then it
do
won't be
Baby
fair.
Yoda.
Okay, I have
All
to
right.
put together
So
Saruman's
Jack,
staff.
you like Eberron,
I
right?
love Eberron.
Why do you like Eberron so much?
Um,
Because I also like Eberron, but you are more of the Eberron master. And if I
See,
try to
well,
talk about Eberron,
my,
I'm going to be like, oh, well, it's cool, and it's cool.
well, my kind of initiation to Eberron, actually, it was well before I actually properly got into D&D because I started playing D&D when I was like 11, and I started with 4th edition, and me and my friends were just kind of noodling around in D&D with my friend's dad running the game, and it was fun. But
That's cool.
yeah, it was really cool. And anyways, the thing is, like, after that, I really wanted to get more into D&D, and so I was looking around on the internet, and I found Dungeons and Dragons Online, and at that time, they were doing like an Eberron MMO thing, and so I started playing that, and
Oh.
that was kind of my first taste.
There's
of
an
the world of
Eberron MMO?
Yeah, I don't know if it's still a thing anymore, but
That's cool that even
yeah, it was
existed,
pretty cool.
though.
I remember because my first character was a cleric, and I was like, I want to make my character that I played, but I want to make him an Eberron, and so I made like a Thrainish Silver Flame cleric.
Oh, wow.
But then after that, I kind of forgot about Eberron and didn't really pay much attention to it until like summer of 2018, when I think that was right after Rising from the Last War came out.
Yep, I'm going to pause you real quick, Jack, because I am sorry to everybody. Now the camera's recording.
Oh.
I'm so sorry. Our faces are here now. I
Just,
forgot the entire time, but now we're here now. Hello, it's us. It's me. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Keep going.
Anyways, yeah, and then I was invited by a friend to play in an Eberron game, and I started reading Rising from the Last War, and and I had always known that like Eberron was kind of like a cool, like, wide magic, neo noir intrigue, but also pulp action sort of thing.
That's the hardest part I have with
pretty cool.
Eberron is like describing what it is, because it's so many things.
Well, that's kind of the beauty of it, because I think Jordan brought it up when we were playing in that one shot. Is that canonically, like every person's Eberron is like kind of different. For example, the one shot that I ran, like, while that may be considered like canon in my Eberron, that actually happened in a completely in someone else's version of Eberron, like that something like that would never happen. So but anyways, I played that game and I had a lot of fun, but I just felt like there was, like, my friend did a good job, but I felt like there was like more out there, like that I could potentially explore, and so
out there.
And so I ran a game with some of my friends, and that ultimately kind of fell apart. But it was really fun, the stuff that we did do. Just the thing about Eberron for me is just like, it's just, what I like about it is that, like Keith Baker, the guy who made it, talks about it all the time, is that, you know, it takes everything in Dungeons and Dragons and it kind of gives it a new purpose or like a new spin on things. So, you know,
that's
it's a lot
what
more,
I love about Eberron too. Is it's like
it's more
Tenser's
nuanced.
floating discs are like ways that they travel. Like, I think that's really cool.
And like just the way that the world is set up and the whole like post cataclysmic war setting where it's like a Cold War now because everyone's too afraid to go to war to start the morning again or anything like that.
Awesome.
And all that stuff. And I think the thing that got it for me is, you know, when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons, I don't really have a lot of huge opinions about it mechanically. Like I saw a lot of the questions that people were asking on Twitter were based on like the mechanics of D&D. And that's not really something that I specialize in. I'm like an actor, I'm a writer, so I like the story. And so when I see a world like Eberron, there's just so much storytelling potential in that, you know, and like you can make so many interesting characters.
That's the real beauty of it too, is the fact that it's kind of a new spin on it. So you get to surprise certain players who are so used to the original sort of way to do D&D, and it's like, oh, well, in this world it's actually different, and this is how it works. And it's always that like that idea of rediscovery that's so fun with D&D that you can still get with really experienced players that everybody always tries to recreate, in my opinion, and I think Eberron does it very, very well.
Yeah, so. It's just so good, and you know, like Eberron has become my favorite pre-made D&D setting, just because of that, and because Keith Baker, wonderful Keith Baker, who I actually got the opportunity to play a game with, which was awesome.
You
but
did?
Yeah, I told you about it. I'm one of his patrons, and there was a thing. He has a thing that he's running right now called Threshold, which is basically like he's working on a new project that's based on he's working on a new book that he's going to release on DM's Guild sometime, and
I think you did tell me about this.
Yeah, and it's like it was like you submit. It's like he makes these pre-made characters, and we all contributed to these characters' creations and by voting in polls and things, and then when the time came for the first session, there was like a challenge to see like who would get in, and the way that you did it is you had to make a connection between two of the characters. And so like what I did was there are two characters that I really wanted to play. One is a former House Deneath Sentinel Marshal who was kind of kicked out of the house because he killed a war criminal that would have otherwise gone free. And and he's kind of like the Mandalorian in that like he's this grizzled warrior who has to take care of this adopted child of his, who has mysterious powers. And then and the other one was a gnome of House Civis, who was like she's like a grandma gnome who likes to like take care of everyone, and she's an Order of the Scribes wizard, is super fun. So the connection I made for them was that while the Sentinel Marshal was still in the houses, they met at a ball, and she and like the wizard was friends with his grandmother, and so they were chatting it up, and then she like forced him to dance with her at this ball, even though he was like the bodyguard for the Deneath entourage. And so that was the one that got me into the game, and I played with Keith. Keith DM'd it, and it was so much fun. It was such a cool experience.
Fun. That's really cool.
Yeah. I've been curious. I don't know if I can like double dip, if I can like try and get into another one of those games. I'd really like to if I can.
He's just like, you know what, Jack? I just love you so much.
I don't know about that. He only met me once. But yeah, Keith Baker's just super cool. But what I was going to say was what I like most about what he did about Eberron, and I don't really want this to become the Eberron podcast.
It's the Eberron episode.
Because I'm having a lot of trouble focusing on my Legos because I'm talking so much
you're the
about
one
Eberron.
talking, and I'm like, good, this is all my time
you're like,
to get
yes,
my Legos in.
keep going.
Yeah. Look at how much of this tiny Millennium Falcon I have done.
Yo, gosh, I've got like this much of Orthanc ready. But what I like that he did about it, because you know, again, coming back to how I love D&D as like a story telling mechanic, is that there are so many details in Eberron that are left open to interpretation. You know, there's no defined cause of the morning. There's no defined thing like list of powers that the Mark of Death has. There's no thing that could say like, oh, you've got the meddling of like the Chamber and the Lords of Dust, and it's like you have no idea what those guys are up to. There's this whole idea of the Draconic Prophecy where you can like push players towards certain things. And that was kind of what I did with you guys in the one shot, was that you guys were fulfilling a segment of the Draconic Prophecy.
So cool.
And that is how you ultimately ended up fighting, the big bad Tarask in the Mornland. But yeah, anyways, that's how I feel about it.
I agree, and I heard that they were going to explain away some of the Mornland in Van Richten's, and I was like, that sucks if they're doing that. Did they actually end up doing that, or
no? Well, actually, what they did with Van Richten's, I felt was done very much in the spirit of Eberron. I don't think Keith Baker actually had a hand in it. If he did, then I'm just wrong. But with Siri 1313. It's an interesting concept that of course, like the ghost train is such like an iconic, idea in like Western horror and things like that. But I think they put it, they mentioned it, and I was like, that's a pretty neat idea. And they explicitly left a lot of the details about like who the VIP that they were waiting for that ultimately stalled the train and sent it to its doom. There's no explanation of who that person is. It's just that they're in the car along with all these other Syrian refugees that are just desperately trying to escape the coming cataclysm. Cool. And so you could definitely take that in an Eberron game. It would be cool if you walk through the Mornland mists, but instead of ending up in the Mornland, you end up in Ravenloft on this train. I think that would be a really cool. That would be a really cool one shot. I think so. I think they did a good job with that, like making it in such a way that Keith Baker would potentially give his stamp of approval. I don't want to speak for him, but I felt like it was kind of done in the spirit of things.
Definitely, that's so cool. Spencer, where are you at? What do you got there, huh?
I got a little tree.
You got a little tree?
A little
Lego tree? Oh, that's very nice. This Millennium Falcon is strange because there's like a bunch of inside pieces, but they're all different colors, and I don't really know why. Maybe it's like to signify the inside of the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
But it's got red, and I'm like, why does it have red on the inside? I guess to denote the different pieces if you don't see it. But
oh shoot, I lost my page.
Ha! You've lost your page!
Yeah, I'm probably going to lose this challenge. I'm just going to put that out there.
Oh, is this a little Sirius Black?
It is. Look at him. That's Sirius Black, so that is.
That's so awesome. That's Sirius Black,
I was about to say.
Oh, man.
What's that, like the thing that the kid says about the Grim? It's like, it's an omen of death, it is. Or something like that.
Oh man, I go back and forth with Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter, and I also have so many problems with Harry Potter. But always in the end, I just always end up loving Harry Potter.
Yeah. What's the best Harry Potter movie, Jacob?
Oh jeez. You know what?
I would just like to point out that there is a correct answer to this question.
There's a correct answer.
As far as I'm concerned,
I have my gut answer, and then I have my head answer. Well, no.
Okay. I'll allow it because I make the rules on this podcast.
I gotta say that in our recent watch, I'm not focusing.
Now you see what it's like.
I really enjoyed Deathly Hallows Part 1 more than I had originally said. But if I go back and I look at every movie and I think about which one I think I enjoyed the most when I watched it, probably Prisoner of Azkaban.
Okay.
I think that's my favorite one.
What about you, Spencer?
I'm a big fan of Half-Blood Prince and Order of the Phoenix. I hate Severus Snape, but I like the Half-Blood Prince movie. I
think Half-Blood Prince is probably my second. Even though I did enjoy Deathly Hallows Part 1 a lot, I think I only did because Half-Blood Prince was so fun to watch. Yeah. So it's almost a tie for me on both of those, but I think I like Azkaban.
I'm with you, Jacob. I'm a big Prisoner of Azkaban fan.
It's just so different, and I think it's so good because after you watch the first, because they changed directors, and then they also Dumbledore is a different actor now, and the whole vibe and feel of that movie, the direction of it, I like the whole part. Like I love Lupin, and I love the whole part with the Boggarts. And I love the whole part with... I just like the mystery of that movie, too. It's just so interesting, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I like how dark it is and how
Mhm.
I like all of the long shot. I don't know. It's a good movie. It's good.
Agreed.
Have you watched Harry Potter, Craig?
My wife's obsessed with it.
Really?
So I've watched them all probably hundreds of times alongside her. But I don't know if I could tell you like which one was the best one. I know that
You
Edward
just passively viewed it.
Oh my gosh.
Edward gets bopped in the fourth one.
That's all you know.
Edward Cullen
Edward
shows up
Cullen
and gets
gets
got.
bopped.
Edward Cullen
That
gets
one?
popped, yeah. And
That's my
that,
boy.
Yeah,
That-
that was
that's
my
my
that-
son.
That
that
was probably
Hogwarts-
the one that I remember the most, though.
That
I think,
Hogwarts
that's
March
because that's
theme,
Lacey's favorite.
that Hogwarts March theme is one of my intrusive thoughts that just constantly runs through my heads at all times. That like da 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 da. Yeah, that's just constantly in my head, no matter what I do. So if anybody has any tips,
I think that
Therapy?
Order of the Phoenix, or sorry, Goblet of Fire is okay. It's all right. To me, it's like it's got us. This is what I said when we rewatched them back in November with Emma, who hadn't seen them. Is Goblet of Fire is like Revenge of the Sith. The whole movie is terrible, but because the ending is a little sad, everybody loves it.
yeah, you're right. I hate to admit.
I'm sorry. Go watch Revenge of the Sith.
No,
and
you're
and
right.
Don't
You're
watch
right.
the ending, and you'll be like, "That sucked." And the Goblet of Fire is the same way. It's not that great, but it's
Gosh, dang it.
fine. It's fine.
Oh no, I can't find a piece. Oh, I'm dumb. Never mind, I found it.
I always sometimes will look ahead and be like, "Oh, I need to do that," and then realize, "Wait, what the fuck?" And I have to go back and be like, "Shit, I forgot to do that thing."
Oh boy,
Chaos Lego building.
your
Is really
overconfidence. is
Okay,
your
you know what I'm
weakness.
gonna do in the middle of my? I'm kind of ahead. I'm gonna give everybody a chance to catch up. I'm gonna-
Tortoise in the hair, my friend.
I'm
Slow
gonna
and
read
steady
out
wins
some
the race.
questions that we got over on Twitter. You guys want to ask us some questions every Monday at a random time? I ask
No
a
warning.
question on the Twitter. So go ahead and come check it out. So, wow, we got a lot here. I am not reading these ahead of time, so you know what? I'll go with the safe one. I know Zav, creator of D&D Waifus, is asked some pretty good questions. So we've got, hey, first off, congrats on the Questo nom. Oh, I forgot that's out.
The what?
It's not out. It's the news is out. So thank you so much. If you guys go to my most recent video, the Twitch chat one, there's a link in the description down there for a little project that's coming out pretty soon. It's called the Questonomicon. We're doing a Kickstarter book with Ghostfire. So if you guys want to stay updated on that, give us your emails.
Oh, the Questonomicon. Okay.
yeah,
I thought you were nominated for an award. I was like,
Questonom? Yeah, I
what
was
are the
nominated for the
Questo
Questo.
Awards?
No. This is the Questonomicon. This is our book that we're writing.
Yeah.
If you guys want to know more about it, you'll definitely hear more about it. But it's basically a book of one shots for. It's a bit tailored towards newer players, but it's adventures that are kind of like a starter adventures. But you could totally run them with your more experienced friends. I'll absolutely be supporting it when the time comes. Thanks, Zaf. Now on to the question though. What would your character's last meals be and why? You know, how inmates sentenced to death get to pick a final meal, that kind of deal. Oh my god.
Okay.
That's a good question. What do you think, Spencer? What would Farron have?
I know what
as his
Farron's
final
last meal would be.
It's French onion soup.
Yeah, French onion soup.
It would be Colette.
Oh my god.
Whoa.
Yikes.
What would be Farron's final meal?
Farron's is hard. I don't know what Farron would want. Probably French onion soup, to be honest.
Farron would be
Mance knows what he likes.
too scared
I don't know if I
that
did
he's
this
about to
right.
die.
Yeah, I don't
You know, just think about the mortality of your character. You know,
yeah, I do. I
real
do
simple.
a lot actually in this game. I'd say
Oh, dang
maybe.
it.
I'm missing a piece.
I'm done.
You finished?
Yeah.
Son
Oh
of
my
a
God.
bitch!
We were talking.
Damn,
I was
a lot.
so
Spencer.
close.
Damn! Nice job, Spencer.
Good job,
Congratulations.
Spen. Good job.
You get a
Spanky.
little award. You know what the award is?
What?
A quest.
You get
A
the
Questo.
big Lego Dick Award.
The big Lego dick.
Congratulations.
Wow.
I wish I had like an actual Lego penis.
Look,
That'd be
guys.
good.
There's even the Patronus.
Whoa!
Yes.
I'll make sure to take pictures of everything and then we'll see.
Okay, yeah.
I'm still finishing mine.
Yeah, me
still
too.
gonna finish
I
it.
realized I did something wrong, and now I have to go back.
Wow. What would Jeremy's final meal be?
My friend recently told me something about, we were talking about food for whatever
Oh wait,
reason, and
nope. These little guys don't have their capes on.
Everybody still has a chance.
oh god, here we go. Let me just
on,
like
Baby
Lego
Yoda.
Star Wars
Come
build
on.
this, where I build it like super quick. No, I think
Come on.
yeah, but I was talking to one of my friends, and she was telling me about she like Jeremy is vegetarian, and she told me about this amazing mushroom and Brussels sprout risotto that she made
Whoa.
one time, and I was like, that sounds like something Jeremy would love. So that would probably be Jeremy's
That's
last meal.
awesome.
That
Come
with
on,
like
Yoda,
a
piece of
like
shit,
a
get in there. I'm almost
Like-
done. You just gotta get in there. Done.
Yo,
Done.
Craig finished! Craig finished!
oh my
Craig was over
god.
there in the little Baby Yoda carrot, just shoving him in there. Like, come on, Baby Yoda.
Sorry,
get the fuck
Jack.
in there.
Sorry. Go ahead, Jack. I'm so sorry.
Get in there.
Please continue.
That was awesome.
I should have kept my mouth shut.
Oh my god, that's so
great.
funny.
That was so good. Sorry, so you Brussels sprout.
Brussels sprout and mushroom risotto with like
That
a
sounds,
That sounds
that sounds
so
like it'd
good.
be so
probably like a pumpkin pie for dessert,
Oh, ooh, dessert. I didn't think about
or a
dessert.
carrot cake.
Ooh.
good. Mm.
Eugene would just want a bagel.
A bagel.
Yeah.
Eugene is fucking bagels.
He loves bagels.
What's that vine that's like, hey, are you hungry? It's like, what are you hungry for? It's like the souls of the
Souls.
innocent.
Yeah.
A bagel. No.
No,
Two bagels.
two bagels.
That's one of the memes I sent in the Immortals chat when Ashkari got, like yeeted by Vecna. And,
Yeah.
and I was like, Vecna
So
inside
casual.
Ashkari.
You know, when Ashkari got yeeted by
Yeah.
Vecna.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of my other characters really have like a favorite food. That's
Damon would want chocolate cake.
Just
like
chocolate cake.
Yeah, he loves chocolate.
like that scene in Matilda.
What? What's
Matilda.
Matilda?
You've never seen Matilda?
No, you could be bullshitting me right now. You could be like, "There's a movie called Matilda." I'd be like, "Fuck you." No, there's not.
Yes,
What are you
there
talking
is.
about? It's like a classic book too.
Yeah.
It's all.
Well, shit, I hadn't heard of it.
Yeah.
It must not be that classic then.
And yeah, there's a scene where at the school they go to, this kid is forced to eat like an entire chocolate cake.
I feel like I know. Maybe I do know what this is.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just dumb.
And the really nice teacher, I believe her name is Miss Honey.
Miss Honey,
She's
yeah.
beautiful. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's real cool.
It
What
had,
would Baron have as his last meal?
I don't even know. Something they could probably eat.
yeah.
Applesauce?
He doesn't-
Yeah. Probably like oatmeal or something
Yeah.
sad.
Baron
Oatmeal
doesn't
and
know it's his
applesauce.
last meal.
Yeah.
He's just like,
but for him, he orders everything as a
Actually,
last
as
meal.
far as
Yeah.
Baron's concerned, probably every meal he's like,
Yeah.
this is it.
this could be it.
This is it. I better enjoy this Brussels
Some watery
sprout mushroom
soup.
risotto.
Oh yeah, we're with Jeremy. You never have watery soup.
that or I'll just eat. What did
Yeah,
Jeremy
it's-
give
it's-
Baron? That like apple
I gave her
tart or
I
whatever.
gave him a pear tart.
Yeah, I'll eat pear tarts until I die.
Yeah.
Hey Spencer, you want to do me a solid and
Sure.
whip open my phone right there and read another
Pick another question. I will.
Cool.
Is that the only character you have a last meal for?
Oh
Damn.
god, Jace would panic and be unable to pick.
Laszlo.
He could probably yeah. Ashkari.
Oh.
He would, I don't know. Depends on the Jace.
Yeah. But never
What
Benji.
about Eberron Jace?
Did I play
check it.
Eberron Jace?
You did play Eberron Jace. He was a
Oh
Whisper
yeah,
Lord.
He was a
Eberron
cowboy.
Jace in
Eberron
that
Jace
game
was
that we
super
talked
cool.
about. He's a badass in Eberron because he went through trauma. Eberron
That's
Jace.
like every Eberron character though. So.
Eberron Jace would want grits. No, I'm just kidding.
Grits.
No, Eberron Jace is like he's almost like Arthur Morgan. He would want like
He was
I
very
want a
much,
steak and mashed potatoes and that's it.
I want some oregano game bird that I cook by my fire and some biscuits and a half open bottle of gin.
Yeah. And
Guys,
half
look-
a cup of coffee.
Look,
because
I've got the Palantír here.
Palantír.
and it spins.
It's
you can't really
spins.
see it,
Spins! That's so
but build me an
cool.
army worthy of Mordor.
That was actually a really good impression. That was very nice.
Thanks, man.
We have work to do. Ba ba ba.
Wait,
ba, ba.
wait,
Okay,
where is
sorry,
he?
Spencer,
Like-
what's your question?
We
Huh?
have work to do.
Oh, well,
We Gandalf. The hour is late when Gandalf the Grey comes riding to Isengard.
So
good,
you have
son.
chosen. Yeah.
Okay, what is the most underrated or overrated monster for each creature type?
Each creature
This
type.
comes from Quentin Walker.
We'll be here
You
all
know
day.
what?
That's the rest of the
Beholders are
podcast.
overrated, and rightly so.
Oh.
Really?
So they're not overrated at all. They're properly rated.
Mm.
Oh,
I think beholders are great. They're awesome.
I don't.
You don't like them?
Yeah,
Why not?
because I fought them too many times.
Yeah.
I don't know if any monsters are overrated.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because, like I said, I don't. When it comes to monsters, I don't really think too much mechanically about like what would be cool, or like what would be like a challenge for my players. Because more often than not, whenever I throw my players against something, more often than not, I usually overestimate the monster's abilities, and then they just wipe the floor with it. Or yeah. So I don't know. I just think of monsters that have like great story potential, like
Yeah.
As far as underrated, I don't know so much underrated as underused, but like I think all of the beholder kin are really cool. Like
Oh,
Yeah.
like Gouths and Gazers and
Death kisses.
Death kisses.
I
remember
I just got a mini of a death kiss in a random
they
box
look
thing
so
from Game
cool.
Corps.
They look so cool.
Oh, cool.
Like in for a one shot that I did in like I made like a post-apocalyptic like D&D setting. One of the like the bosses that they had to fight at the end of this like ancient dwarven ruin was a Gouth that was eating all the magic items, and they were sent there to retrieve a magic
Because
item.
they can eat magic items. That's right.
And so
yeah.
they had it was and like once they figured it out, like the boss battle, it was like they had to get into the room, and it was guarded by a bunch of like malfunctioning like constructs, and they had to like get into the room before the Gouth would eat the magic item. And so
That's so fun.
yeah, it was cool. Other monsters that I think don't get used enough, I think Nagas are super cool.
Yeah, they are
Nagas
really
are cool.
It's just
Eder
hard to
caps.
place them in things because it's either like it's gonna kill you, or it's a super cool guy who
Yeah.
can cast like a ton of spells, and it's like
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with this. I think that a really underrated monster is the Sorrow Sworn in Mordenkainen's.
Oh gosh, those things are freaky as heck.
Yeah. There's
they're
like
cool,
the
though.
they're based off of emotions. They're really
Mhm.
cool. I love them.
Is that the thing we fought in Evenfall?
No, you guys haven't fought one before.
What was the name of that thing we fought in Evenfall?
I love all the Shadowfell creatures that they put in Mordenkainen's.
Yeah,
By
the
the way.
Yeah.
And
Shadowfell's so dope.
it was a can you remind me which part?
in what's his name's tower?
in
Little
in
floating-
Tetheros's
Tetheros, yeah.
Tetheros's
the thing
okay.
that was like taking
Yeah,
everyone's
it, like,
stuff.
touched us.
That was actually nothing. I got some ideas from, I think that may have been in Pathfinder or 3.5, but it was just a shadow elemental. But I modified it,
Ooh,
and it took emotions.
Yeah.
I love stealing
Um,
stuff from Pathfinder and throwing it at
too.
my players, and they're like, "What is this?" I took you know what witchfires are in
No.
Eberron, or not in Eberron, in Pathfinder. They're like the souls of like hags, like vengeful souls of hags that were killed at like an untimely moment.
Oh my
and they
gosh,
come
that's
back
cool.
as they come back in like this vengeful spectral form, and they're surrounded by like these flames that are like naturally attracted to like living creatures and stuff. And the way I did it, I was kind of mean when I did it, because the way that it worked was when they were struck by the fire, they immediately had fairy fire on them,
Oh,
so that all of the attacks had advantage.
that's so
Yeah.
cool though.
They
That
ve-
makes like so
yeah,
much sense.
It was super fun. But yeah, witchfires are super dope. The art for them is really cool if you look them up. I just love the Pathfinder.
Do you have
stuff so much.
a monster you think is like super like overrated or underrated, Spencer?
Not that I can think of.
Really? Do you ever have a monster that's like when you're playing and the DM like is like, it's this, you're like, oh, okay, lame.
Beholders.
What the fuck? All right, okay.
Like, I thought we just recently fought one in Tomb, and it was neat that it was like cursed to be invisible or whatever. But
It wasn't cursed. Sarah casted wish on the beholder to make him invisible,
Oh,
and
That's-
his name was Belcorge, and he was like, "Yaha,
Yeah.
I'm eternally invisible."
yeah. Once I realized that it was a
Ah,
beholder, I was
goals,
like,
honestly,
mm,
to never be perceived ever again.
yeah.
Yeah, that fight is kind of mean because it goes like, there's a giant floating sphere in the center of the room, and it attracts all metal to it, and it makes you think it's the Beholder, but the Beholder is actually not there and invisible.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's like...
It was funny, though, because none of us were wearing metal. Like, none of us wear armor in
Nobody
that game.
in the Tomb Party wears armor.
Yeah.
That's
which
awesome.
is so awesome.
And, like, Tiff was carrying around a shield for a while, but they got... you went into one of the boxes, and
Yeah,
it
ashed
destroyed all of, like, the...
I use my teeth on this one.
I did
boy.
have a shield at that time, but my original shield got ashed in that box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it was
Poor
just like...
box.
Oh, you're wearing a necklace and you feel like a tiny pool to this thing, but it didn't pull anyone into the room. But
Yeah.
I think they're neat that they have like different like
I always agree with Matthew Mercer what he says on it, which is like Beholder's so much fun because you don't have to roll anything. All the players roll everything because it's all saves.
mhm.
The only thing you roll is what eyeball it's going to use, but that's it. You just
Yeah.
sit there and you just let it happen, and it's fun as a dungeon master, but awful for your players. Mine can like shoot little beams.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I will say the Beholder fight in Sunder, and I think we were in the Hells, and it was in like darkness, and I
Mhm.
dispelled the darkness that was in there, and it was just right at the door
Oh,
waiting
yeah,
for
yeah.
us.
You guys fought two Beholders in Sunday.
Oh my
Mhm.
There was
god.
that one where you dispelled the darkness in
Yeah.
Avernus, and it showed up and like attacked you guys.
Yeah, it killed
And then
me.
there was one in the meteorite crater, and Klaz killed it in one turn because he stunned it.
Yikes.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Fun times.
Sunder Party was at a point where they could kill a Beholder in a round because, yeah.
Love that.
I don't miss that at all.
Yeah, you hated Vincent
Yeah.
a lot.
You want to bust
Hey,
down another
guys,
question?
Yeah.
guys, check.
You did it?
Check really quick. Check this out.
Yep.
No, I'm not done yet. But like, watch this.
Oh, from Two Gnomes, the Weather Boy.
Mm.
He says, I'm very uncreative, so what should I send in the P.O. Box? Also, Jack, was Jeremy's use of the carrot as a gun intentional?
Wouldn't you like to know, Weather Boy?
Oh.
So, no, I'm being facetious, one. Two, to answer that question just really quickly, from the start, Jeremy, well, not really from the start, but from the start of Jeremy in her current incarnation, she was always going to be like a very pastoral sort of Stardew Valley cleric. But the whole carrot as a spell focus was something that I wanted to play with. I was thinking of it more along the lines of a wand. The whole gun thing was kind of thrust upon me by the fandom because everyone wants to give Jeremy a gun for some reason. I don't know why.
Because it would be very out of character.
I guess, but it would also be useless as hell because my dex is awful, and I'm not proficient. So, I'd much rather just shoot guiding bolts than actual bullets. Make guiding bolts, not war.
Yeah.
All right, I hate to interrupt you, but I finished mine.
Look at him.
Little Han Solo and his
How
little
cute is that?
thing. And watch this. Watch this. You can go. Pew!
Oh, gone
That
forever.
goes actually pretty far.
Yeah, it goes pretty
That's
far.
awesome.
So there's a little Han Solo.
He got Darth Vader. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
"You're all clear, kid.
Oh.
Now blow this thing and let's go home." I'm almost done. I'm just building the last.
Nice.
I'm building these light fixtures. They're pretty cool.
Ooh.
Oh, that's actually
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
I have the whole Tower of Orthanc in my living room.
Well, I have got just a sliver of Saruman's sanctum. So,
Interesting. Yeah, the whole Jeremy with the gun thing. Did that start because she shot Damon in the face to uncharm him?
I don't know where it started. Somebody just said it on the Discord, and it just kind of got carried away from there. But I think it came before that. I think it was as soon as Tyler introduced guns to the world where we met the Royal Guards and they had the rifles, and everyone was like, "I want a gun," except for Jeremy, and then everyone was like, "You know who should have a gun? Jeremy."
Here's a real good question that I'm pretty sure we cannot answer, but I'm still going to read it because I think it's funny. Artemis Knows Too Much asks, is Jack in any or all of the upcoming Saturday campaigns?
Who's to say?
Who's to say? Who's to say? Is that all we're going to say about that?
You know too much, but not this.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a possibility. All right, Daydrone asks, what setting would you want to be ported over to 5e that hasn't already? We get this goddamn question every week. I'm personally really wanting some modern Spelljammer because it's space. Greg's theming. Or a better look at the other planes of existence.
Did Craig like ghostwrite this question? He's like, can we just talk about Spelljammer, guys?
I want Dark Sun.
Dark Sun would be cool. I don't know. I'm not really like too familiar with all the other settings.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I used to really not like Forgotten Realms, but now that I'm running like 2 different games of Waterdeep Dragon Heist, I'm starting to really like the Forgotten Realms.
Yeah, there are parts of it that are lame, and there are parts of it that are really cool.
Well, there are just parts of it that are just like that, you know, that problematic aspect of fantasy from like the early 70s and stuff, you know. And but I think they've been making good steps towards trying to like change that.
I think they made some really good steps with Van Richten's guide with a lot of the pretense
all the Van
where
Richten
they
stuff
said like
so good.
a lot of this genre has some I can't remember the exact wording, but
it was
basically
like
just
like for
has
body
like
horror.
harmful.
But for body horror, it was like, you know, these movies sometimes have a problematic tendency to portray disability as monstrous. So try not to do that. There was another.
It's
thing.
really good that they did that.
I think for folk horror, it was like this, or no, it was cosmic horror. It was like this. This genre has a tendency to describe like other cultures as like monstrous or things like, you know, you read a lot of those. Very problematic H.P. Lovecraft books, and it's like, you know, like exotifying these native, you know, these indigenous peoples, and it's very problematic. So I'm glad that they, you know, pointed that out. I just wish they would continue to point it out through all of their iterations of Dungeons and Dragons, but it's just me.
Yeah, for sure.
Real quick, before we get to the next question, I need to show you guys the second aspect of this. So I'm done. I finished.
You did it! Yours is really cool.
And,
yours is like a lot of little things.
So Gandalf has taken a nasty spill because Saruman is just the better wizard. It's true.
Yeah.
But what's this?
Whoa!
I forget what he says. He says like, I offered
fiction.
you a chance.
Yeah.
And you have taken the way of pain!
Yeah. And he's like, ah!
Yeah.
Or sorry. Ah!
Yeah. And then it hard cuts to
Yeah.
Frodo!
Mr. Frodo!
It's just something that Gandalf said.
We've only got one Jaffa cake left.
Yeah. Man, there's a lot of questions in here that are kind of the same.
Yeah.
A lot of them are like, do you have characters that you never get to play? And it's like,
Yep.
we just talked
about that.
Yeah. We have another question that just
Everyone just wants to.
I got
wants
my
to
Blood
hear
Hunter.
about my.
I
everyone
wanna
wants to hear
play.
about my Eberron characters.
Oh yeah.
Nah. I've made like 3 warlocks in the past like 2 days, and I'm like, I will never play these.
Warlocks
Sad.
are so dang cool. What have been your experiences? This is from Max Van Dolfsen. What have been your experiences playing in and running multiple campaigns in the same world? What challenges does it bring compared to starting with a blank slate for each campaign? Does it alter your decisions as players in regards to important world-altering choices?
Whoa. Can I read that
That's
one?
an interesting question.
You want to look at it?
Yeah, I want to look at it. Sorry.
I don't know. I've only recently started DMing a lot, and before that it was always like homebrew games that ultimately fell apart, so I never really had that problem of like running multiple games in the same setting.
Yeah.
Recently though, like, you know, I'm running like 2 Eberron games on PvP, and I'm running a Waterdeep Dragon Heist for some of my friends from school, and another Waterdeep Dragon Heist that's a PvP on D&D Beyond. And as far as I'm concerned, those are just alternate universes. Like,
what's
you
a
know,
PvP?
Okay, PvP is play by post. It's Dungeons and Dragons.
I heard PvP like a player versus
player
player.
versus player. No. PvP is play by post. It's just like D&D married to like text role playing. You just use like D&D rules and stuff. So
that's fun.
It's cool. I find that like when it comes to DMing, I think I just prefer that version better because it gives me more time to think about things, and also there's also a record of everything that happens. So like it's really cool to like go back and look at certain moments that were like awesome or yeah, because I think something that happens with me a lot when I DM is that I get so caught up in like the big picture that I don't know how to put the pieces together. And so with PvP, like it takes time for everyone to respond. It's like a really long-term thing. So like I've been really stuck with one of my Eberron games that for a while, but then finally like I started reading some stuff and some stuff happened in the game, and I'm like, oh, like I know how I can now piece this all together because I had like time to think about it and not just like a week of me agonizing like, oh, the session's on Friday, what am I gonna do? So I run a couple games. Some are private on PvP, some are like public on the D&D Beyond. D&D Beyond's forums has a whole section for play by post. If you don't get the chance to like actually play D&D with your friends, I find that it's like a good substitute, especially in like the pandemic and stuff when not everyone can meet up. That can be a really good substitute.
I've done it before actually, and I've actually it's a lot more fun than it seems, because I think for some like initially when I first saw that type of D&D, kind of people preferring it and playing it, especially on our Discord when we first kind of really started it, we had this whole area called like the tavern, and people would just play in there. At first I was very negative towards it. I was like, this is lame and I don't like it. But I actually started doing PvP games as session zeros before we start. And I would go and I love it. It's so fun.
It's so cool.
It's a one-on-one session that I can have with somebody else. And a one-on-one session is so fun because you just do it in text chat. So you just message the other person what you're doing, and it's so fun. I never realized like how genuinely enjoying the amount of enjoyment you can get out of that. The only hard thing I would say is maybe combat, but if you have one person, it's not hard at all.
Well, what's nice about D&D Beyond's thing is that in their response, they have a dice roller, and they have things that are automatically like, this is like what you click for an attack, and all you do is enter your modifier and enter the damage, and then it calculates all that for you. That's good, but like it's not as comprehensive. What's even nicer is that the Avray bot, the D&D dice bot, you can put it in your game, and it has a program where it keeps track of initiative, keeps track of hit points, keeps track of everything. And
we have that in our Discord as well.
It's in the Discord, but I don't know if people actually. I didn't really learn about the initiative tool until I started running my own PvP games, and it just made everything so much easier because now I don't have to keep track of hit points. I don't have to. You can even like make maps in Avray using just building it like on a grid.
That's so cool.
And one of my because. For most of my PvPs, I just use Roll20 just because it's easier for me to do that than try and construct a map. But one of my players in one of my Eberron games is blind, and so he when it comes to maps, like he taught me that the way like he does it, because he runs a lot of games, is like he would make it in like an Excel sheet, but I don't really know how to use Excel. But he showed me how to do it in Avray, where you could just build the map and enter tokens and stuff. And so it's cool that it has like so much accessibility.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool like that you're able to play with somebody who's blind. That's really, really cool.
It's
awesome.
It's been cool. Yeah,
that's great. You want to bust down the genre jar, or did we not actually answer that question?
The very full. Oh well, I kind of gave my long-term answer.
Yeah.
It was just like I don't know.
did you understand it? Did you dissect it? Did you give it? What have been your experiences playing in and running multiple campaigns in the same world? What challenges does it bring compared to starting Blade?
I have an answer.
What's your answer?
I feel like I care more about the world the longer that I play in it. So.
For sure.
I don't really DM. I'm starting DMing tomorrow. Actually, I'm really excited. But
oh yay, good for you.
Yeah. Gonna run a little Curse Strahd game.
Yeah, I'm gonna play a little Curse Strahd.
And I say Lil as in she doesn't have minis for fucking everything.
Yeah,
Dwarven Forge for everything. Literally, like every NPC that exists, she's like, I'm ordering it, I'm getting it. I'm like, I'm gonna play in this game. This sounds awesome.
It's gonna be a fun time. And we also have the Beetle and Grims for it.
Yeah,
so.
Beetle and Grims.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So cool. Yeah, you want to bust open that genre?
I can do that. Yeah, I think I can.
Oh yeah, and for me to answer that question just really quickly, it's really heavy. Holy crap. I really enjoy running campaigns in multiple worlds. I think it's a lot of fun to keep the same world. It's a good time. Jeez, you okay over there? You got it?
Ooh.
Dang.
Yeah, it pulled me right over. Let's see.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's a lot in there.
Top 5 scenes in Lord of the Rings.
Really?
Oh, boy.
We're the Lord of the Rings podcast now, to be honest. top 5 scenes of Lord of the Rings. Shoot.
Ooh, I know your face.
Well.
So is it
definitely
good?
This bad boy.
That one right there.
You got one of these?
One of those?
Oh,
One
you
of
want,
these? One
you
of
want
those?
one of those?
Oh, mine's on the floor.
You want
Oh, a
one of
little,
these?
That's the
Yoda?
only Lego I have.
One of those.
Guys, we gotta play Sea of Thieves again.
I know we do. Gosh, so fun. The immediate ones that I think of are the ones that make me cry.
Uh-huh.
But there are some ones that I just really, really like, just because I can appreciate it because of the fact that it's a movie, and be like, that's just a beautiful thing because it's a movie. But then there are some parts that I'm like, oh, Tolkien wrote this and I love it, and that's like a favorite part of mine. So like, I'm trying to combine all 3 of those to find my favorite scenes.
One of mine is I Know Your Face. But the second one, when Theoden is dying. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's such a good one.
Also, the conversation between Theoden and Gandalf when they're at like his son's funeral is really good.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's probably my top 5. Is when he's like crying and the music kind of swells up and you can see all of Edoras behind him and he starts talking about how his son will make it to the halls of his forefathers.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorites is when Aragorn and Legolas are talking in the Glittering Caves right before the Battle of Helm's Deep. And they start speaking in Elvish, and Legolas is like, they're all gonna die. And then he breaks the Elvish and he says, and I will die as one of them! Fuck, I love that part so much. Everybody always makes fun of it because it's like, damn, bro, we were talking to Elvish for a reason. What the fuck? But I love it. I think that right there is the climax of Aragorn's character. He becomes a hero then because he like he's the ranger, obviously, and he's put this like greater sense of duty behind him. He wants to be with Arwen, and he's this scraggly dude, and then it's like, well, you have to accept your destiny, you have to become the king, and he's like, I really don't want to, and so in that moment, I like that he has his moment with Boromir, but he really becomes a king with the people of Rohan, not with the people of Gondor, which I really like. I think that's really, really interesting and kind of cool for his character.
And, considering the whole frayed relationship between Gondor and Rohan, the fact that, like, Isildur's heir is willing to put his life on the line to save people that ultimately aren't his, that just builds up that much more respect.
Oh, so good. What were you laughing about?
The scene after Eowyn takes Frodo because he's been stabbed. And I said Eowyn, huh?
I was about to say the scene where he's going and he fades and then his face is
that's exactly what I was gonna say.
It's just like feathered out, and it's just like this slow-mo shot of the ceilings of the set, and you just see fucking Elrond's face just like zooming in. Yeah. It's like the worst
Speaking
shot
Elvish,
it's
so funny.
Ridiculous.
Gosh, I'm a sucker for that speech that Theoden gives before the charge at the Battle of Palantír Fields.
Yes.
I look that up when I just want to like feel something. I think
and they all charge
right before the 2020 election. Someone tweeted somebody tweeted like everyone's saying that this is like that anticipation before the Battle of Helm's Deep, like that moment when everyone's like waiting for the other side to make a move. But someone was like, nah, that's not it. Like this is right before the cavalry charge at the Pelennor Fields, and I was like, hell yeah! I was like, ride now, ride for ruin, and the world's ending. Oh, it's just so good.
And they're all screaming. They're all screaming death, too, which is so cool.
I just love the Riders of Rohan so much.
Me too.
I think another great scene, the Edge of Night sequence, that cavalry charge at Osgiliath, where Faramir gets like
when
Marius Pippin is singing,
singing.
That's good, and
so good.
Denethor is like all like making love to that tomato. I don't know.
Breaks the chicken bone.
It's so nasty.
She loves that scene.
I hate it.
And then.
Craig's favorite scene is when Bilbo goes.
It scares me every time. I'm a grown ass adult, and Bilbo scares the shit out of me. I skipped the first movie intentionally for that.
Not even the scene, the entire movie.
The whole
Whole
thing.
movie.
Yeah, if anything, I
Um,
watched that, and then I skipped the
yeah.
second scene of that, and then maybe I finish it. But if not, I'm like, fuck it. Bill was in that
That's
one. Watch
so
the second
funny. Oh God.
No,
Oh,
hands
Craig,
down, my
that's
favorite
awesome.
scene though. These are all like scenes I love, but I think every time my favorite scene is, I can't carry it for you, but I can carry
Yeah,
you. That it
that's a good
always
one.
will be my favorite scene. It's the
Yeah.
best part of the movies.
We love Sam.
Yeah.
Such good movies.
Fucking
I'm-
Frodo regains his strength and learns how to sprint up the mountain right
Yeah.
afterwards. When Gollum fights him,
It's
he's just
after
like,
being
he's all running.
held in the arms of your homie.
Yeah, he held
gives
in the
you the
arms of his
strength to
homie,
do
he
it,
regained
yeah.
his strength. He
In
got a
the
little short
arms
rest in there.
of the homie.
Yeah.
Fly away. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that I recently watched all of the extended versions, and it was the first time I'd ever done that. And now I think I'm gonna do it again. Just
Yeah, you should.
'cause-
Well,
Just
we're
'cause
watching. We're
so
literally
good.
watching Two Towers tonight.
No,
so,
that's fun.
because Tyler hasn't seen them in a while, and neither has Colton, and we're watching them together. So
That's
we're
good.
gonna
Two
watch them.
Towers is probably my favorite one.
Yeah, yeah.
Out of all three.
What's a
It's
scene
so
you
good.
don't like in Lord of the Rings?
The chicken.
The chicken scene.
I love that scene. I love Faramir.
You just can't handle death.
But I
or don't.
cannot.
No, yeah.
It's
that's
so
grody.
gross. Shelob also grosses me out, but I like Shelob,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
The moments where like they're like cutting the urukai out of those like flesh
Oh,
bags.
ew,
That's
ew,
gross.
Ooh, gross.
Scene
I
don't like.
this is difficult. I like every scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's they're such solid movies overall.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of
and
like
I
a
feel like
part
the
that I
reason
just
that I-
don't care for as much.
Yeah,
You know what? All of Lothlorien. I like it. I love it. It's great. It's amazing. But it's the part of the movie I'm just kind of like, about.
It's like,
is
I can
the
go and
enti-
get a Pepsi now.
Yeah, this is the part where like Gandalf just died. It's you think the movie's gonna be over, but no, there's still like 2 hours left or an hour and a half left. So it's the part where you just kind of take a break, you get up and you make some memes and you eat some food, and it doesn't
Make some
matter.
memes.
The only thing you miss out on is Frodo going, "Oh no, I better not give up the ring," and like there's a bunch of feet shots. Because everybody's barefoot
Yeah.
for some
Oh,
reason.
God.
And Kate Blanchett's, but then you get back in when Kate Blanchett's all like, in spite of a dark lord, you shall have a queen. You're like, oh my god, I'm awake again.
that moment, when I was a kid, that moment
Oh,
freaked
yeah.
me out way
Yeah,
more than
same.
Bilbo.
I remember there are 2 scenes in the entirety because my parents watched them, and I have a nostalgic connection to Lord of the Rings. Probably why I
Same.
like them so much. But like I remember my parents watching them when I was younger, and there were parts that scared me, and that was one of them because I didn't know what was going on. I was like, why is she? I'm
Why is she
scared.
green?
Why is she green?
Yeah, why is it green? And then the other part was when Frodo looks into the bog with the dead faces,
dead
and he
marshes,
face
yeah.
plants into it. Don't know why. That just lives
It's
rent free in my
freaky.
brain.
Mhm.
Is
It's
when
freaky
Frodo
as hell.
falls face first into that. I was like,
And all the
'Cause
wraiths are like,
Yeah.
yeah, because
coming
it's one of those things where it's like I didn't understand what it was or what was going on because I was a kid. So like I'm
Yeah.
not really scared about the bodies or the spooky kind of wraith part because as soon as it becomes that I'm like, oh okay, it's just make believe. I don't mind. The part that scared me is why is Frodo falling in? I was like, what?
Or-
Huh? Do
or
you
there's
just
also
fall
part-
into pools
'cause
sometimes?
there's the corpse in the water that he's focused on, and
Yeah.
then it opens its eyes, and they're just
Yeah.
like milk white, and
Yeah.
then that's when he like, oh god,
Yeah,
takes-
that
takes a
whole
spill.
bit like scares. Like the corpse was like spooky, but it's weird though because like I was a kid, so like my kid mind was more scared as to why Frodo was falling in. Like that scared me more
Okay.
because to me it's like, what if that happens to me? What if I just fall
What if I
into
just
a
face
pool
plant?
of dead people water? Like yeah,
Dead
I don't know.
people water.
Yeah, and that's why the part with when she's all spooky is spooky to me too because it's like, why is she doing that? I don't
She
know
was
what's
so
going on.
chill before this.
Yeah, and now she's all scary, and I don't know why. Now I do because I'm an adult.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you wanna open up another one?
Top 5 items in your junk drawer.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Is this from the Discord?
No,
I
it's
don't
from my
have
brain.
a
Oh,
junk
it's from
drawer.
your-
I'm joking.
Oh, it's from the Discord.
You don't have a junk drawer?
No,
Yeah, you do.
I used to when I was a kid. I don't anymore.
What happened? You
I grew
organized it?
I set
Oh.
aside childish things.
No.
Shut up, Jack. Everybody has a junk drawer. Everybody's got a drawer with a bunch of
I
shit
think
in it and they don't know why it's there.
Currently, I think the closest thing to a junk drawer I have is where like all of my socks that I only have like one sock for
Yeah.
are. It's like the graveyard of lost socks,
Yeah.
I guess. There's also like a random box in there. I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but I think there's like
The top three items in our
a
junk
Halo
drawer are
novel in there
probably
as well.
our kitchen matches.
Yeah.
Our matches.
Oh god.
Because those are awesome and matches are cool.
Yeah.
Because they make fire with a stick. And that's always
Jesus.
badass. And then I would say
Can I say something
Yeah,
really
yeah,
quick about that? I was lighting a candle the other day with one of the matches, and as I hit it across the
Mhm.
box to light it, the stick broke in half, but it was on fire, so I dropped it.
It just set the whole house
And
on
no,
fire.
God,
I
my
dropped it on the
nightmare.
countertop,
Oh,
and I was
okay.
like, "Oh shit!" So I was like blowing it out, and I was like, "No one saw me do that." Okay, and then I just lit it up and lit the candle.
Nice.
It was spooky.
Nice.
That is
Yeah.
spooky.
Spencer used to think that if you leave a candle lit and you leave the house will burn down.
Yes,
Well, it won't.
it will.
No, it won't.
Yes, it will.
It's not going to.
Mhm.
We've done it
If you
multiple
leave it
times
near
now.
the drapes, it will.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
don't
but
leave it
so
near the
don't do
drapes.
that. Just leave it somewhere
Yeah.
where something won't catch on fire,
Yeah.
and you'll be
You
you'll be
never know.
good. Your house will smell nice when you come back home.
We have a junk drawer in like our kitchen, and it's just that we put random shit in there that needs a house. But it all has a purpose. It's not in there because it doesn't. Like I know there's like a little bag of coins in there, and it's like I don't use actual money
I
anymore.
haven't used cash or coins, I think, in a year.
I
Maybe
have
more than a year.
I have money that I pulled out of the bank like 4 months ago, and I just don't use it. It sits in my wallet.
Ever since the pandemic started, I never used cash.
Mhm.
I just stopped. I just didn't have it anymore.
Yeah.
Not for like a germs thing. We were never going out, and I was just ordering everything online. So it was like,
Yeah.
why do I
Yeah.
need this?
Yeah, the only reason I pulled money out was because I was getting a tattoo, and I was like, "Can I pay you through like PayPal or something?" He was like, "No, we only take cash,"
Oh,
which is a
wait,
typical
wait,
thing
wait.
at tattoo shops. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was for your little
Hmm.
sister's birthday. We went and got tattoos together because she turned 18.
Are we getting tattoos this week?
Yeah, we are Wednesday.
Wow.
I'm thinking about getting. I don't know. I know she's gonna get it. She has like 1 million. of
Yeah,
them.
I'm getting like 3
But
tattoos on
I-
Wednesday.
I only have this one and this one. I want to get another one, but I don't know what I want it to be yet. I want it to be related to Lord of the Rings stuff. I just don't know yet.
Mhm.
I kind of wanted to get the writing that's on the ring on the outside of my arm, but I'm afraid that my arm's gonna get more fat and ruin it. So, and so I was like, I could put it here, but I've already got a tattoo here, so I'm
Do
like,
your other
shit.
Get it as
The other
a
arm.
get it as
I
a
don't
tramp
want
stamp.
it
Yeah, tramp stamp. Just go around your.
around my waist.
Yeah.
Just do my neck.
No,
Oh god, no regrets.
no regrets.
I said when I first started getting tattoos, I was like, I only want to tattoo this arm, and now it's looking
Yeah.
awfully bare. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
That's how it starts. That's how it starts.
We saw my
I
mom.
thought about getting it around my wrist, but I know that would hurt like
Yeah.
a motherfucker. So
We saw my mom for her birthday and then Mother's Day because they're very close to each other. And I was like, yeah, I'll probably just tattoo my legs and then be done. And now I'm like, but I have these arms.
dude, sometimes I wake up one mornings and I look down and I see my tattoo on my arm. I'm like, fuck yeah, I feel awesome. I don't know why. Just having a tattoo on your arm right here just makes you feel
Powerful.
so cool.
Yeah.
I have an odd thing where I have so many tattoos, but I can't visually see any of them unless I look at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
I
there's-
like, dude,
there's
your
not
tattoos are
anywhere
cool.
that
Yeah,
I
you
can
got
I love
actually
your
Yeah.
visually
tattoos.
see.
Your tattoos also have a lot of meaning, and mine are just like I thought it looked cool.
No, I mean like these two don't because I just did them to match this.
Oh, okay.
So like two of them are ridiculous,
Yeah.
but you know,
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I'm excited though.
yeah, it's gonna be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Jack, do you have any tattoos? And if you don't, do you want any? And if you don't, that's fine. But I'm just curious.
No, I've always been curious. When I was younger and a total nerd, now I'm slightly less of a total nerd.
Mhm.
I don't think that's true. I
Different nerd.
yeah, just different.
Mhm.
I put aside childish
Yeah.
nerdiness, and I've embraced adult nerdiness. I used to want to get the Triforce on the back of my hand because I was like Ocarina
yeah.
of Time was just one of my favorite games growing up.
Yeah.
Now I don't know. I always think like yeah, but I don't really think I will ever.
I've seen a lot of people with them, and it's such a cool moment because like whenever I see them, like there was somebody who works at like a food place that we went to, and they had one, and I was like, I love your tattoo, and they're like, thanks, and I showed them mine, and we were like, hey, and it was like such a cool little thing. Like there's just their whole hand, and I was like, I wasn't cool enough to get that. I just got the little one, but
Yeah.
it's always fun.
I think maybe someday, like if there's ever something that means so much to me that I have to put it on my body, then maybe I will. But at this moment, I don't have anything like that, and I have commitment issues as it is. So I think a permanent tattoo just ain't it for me. At this moment in my life.
I'm also like an
actor. And,
Sorry?
and I'm also like an actor, and like sometimes they don't really want, like they could cover tattoos, but it's just like an extra chore, and
Yeah.
I don't want to have to put people through that. So
yeah. I was like that when I got mine. I was like, I don't know if this is a good idea. I'm having a lot of second thoughts, and I just did it. And I think that I did do a commitment with this. First of all, same as you, I've always wanted this one since I was little.
Mhm.
Like ever since I was like, this is the greatest game ever. I want that on my hand until I die. But like I got this one just because I was like, if I hit 100,000 subscribers, I'm getting this because this literally changed my life. So and then I fucking did it. So
nice.
Plus it's also Andoril, so
yeah.
yeah. I like your tarot card one. That one's really cool.
It hurt. That one hurt the most, I think.
But it's my favorite one.
Yeah.
It looks the best. Next to the one with the cat with the sword in its head.
Oh, Lander, yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty good. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some dumb shit on Wednesday, I think.
Nice.
That's kind of how I feel after my leg's done. I'm gonna get some dumb shit.
Yeah, I really.
Some dumb shit.
Okay, this is. I think I might have talked about this at the cast party, but I really want the dog on an airplane tattoo on my ass. Jacob won't let me do it.
Do you mean like the
habapa? Yeah,
No.
I want
so,
one of them.
God.
But Jacob's like,
That's
no,
iconic.
you can't do that. You can't.
I'm sorry. I want to be open-minded here. I want to be.
Don't let Jacob tell you what to do.
Yeah, is it
Can
just
everybody just? Can I get somebody on my side
No.
here?
No.
Fuck.
I'm gonna get him. Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm gonna get it. Not now. Not on Wednesday. Sometime soon. Yeah, I got my job back, so I'll just pay for it myself. Yeah.
That's good.
Like it was funny because first of all, it was the school that my mom works at.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like if you want to apply, you can try again and we'll let you know.
No,
My
they
mom
were
was
like, please come back. Please,
it was my
we need
mom.
you.
I was like, please, we need you. And you're like, okay.
Yeah. It's fun though. I like working with kids.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have anything that you're doing over the summer that you're like excited about, or are you just big chilling?
I'm playing D&D.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's pretty exciting.
We're gonna go to Disneyland.
Yeah.
4th of July. We always go really hard, but last year we went
serious?
really hard. We're
Can
going
we
even
come?
harder this year.
Can we
It's
come?
so much fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We spent like $500 or $600 on fireworks last year. So
Holy moly.
the plan right now is to double it.
Yeah. Okay. So the camera died and I had to fix it. So this probably got edited out. But now we're talking about the Lord of the Rings books because this is the Middle Earth podcast.
Yeah.
I love the way Tolkien writes because he, in my opinion, writes like a dungeon master. He describes the characters' actions, their thoughts, so much better than any other writer I've ever read before. And he's very good. I like that it's never one person's perspective all the time. And he switches mid-chapter sometimes to give you a little bit of perspective, but mostly focuses on Frodo or whoever is in the scene. And I love that because you get the best of both worlds. You get the inner monologue, but you also get the perspective of the characters, but you also get the wider perspective of everybody. And God, it's so good.
For sure.
Also, he uses words that I'm like, what the fuck? And I was like, oh yeah, this was written a long time ago.
By a man who was obsessed with the English language and knew all about it. So.
Yeah. So there's one he uses a lot, and it's seldom. He uses the word seldom a lot.
Seldom, yeah.
And it's always weird to me because I'm like, I forget this is a word. So, yep. And it's pretty. Yeah, they do a lot in Bree. Actually, they go to in
they
Bree.
hang out
You're
with
talking about
Barnum
Bree.
and
I was so
Butterbur.
surprised that I like the part with Farmer Maggot, and they're like, they're just like, hey, buddy. And he's like, come on in. Why don't we have some food? And Frodo's like, I'm scared of your dogs.
Yeah.
And
then
Pippin and Farmer Maggot are just buds. Like they're just like, oh, you.
But then Farmer Maggot is also like, dude, Frodo, there are some bad guys after you right now. You better get out of here.
Farmer Maggot in the movie, there's the part where the ring wraith comes over and he goes, Shire Baggins. And the dog backs in and he goes, oh, they're that way. And he runs. That's Farmer Maggot. But
is it really? I always thought that was some other
because
dude.
it's of the dog. He has the dogs, you know? So, and that happens in the book. In the book, a ring wraith comes over to Farmer Maggot's place, but it's totally different. Farmer Maggot, like, tells him off. The ring wraith's like, I'm looking for the Baggins at the Shire. And Farmer Maggot's like, fuck you, get out of here. My dogs will kill you. And he's like, yeah, and he runs away. It's so awesome.
I love it.
Yeah, it's
I
cool.
bet Farmer Maggot would have been able to carry the ring to Mordor.
He would have been able to do it. Farmer Maggot could have saved the entirety of Middle Earth.
You went on your tirade in the Discord the other day about how like Frodo is the only person who would ever be able to carry the ring to Mordor, and I think Farmer Maggot could.
Yeah, on the edge of his little hook,
his scythe,
spear his scythe. Yeah, it went off because there was Frodo slander in the Discord, and I wasn't having it because people like to slander Frodo. And your IQ is little if you do. Just kidding. But really, Frodo is I think very underrated because everybody looks at Sam and goes, he's the real hero, and it's like, you're right, but also so is Frodo, and they're like, Frodo succumbs to the ring, and I'm like, guess what? Everyone succumbs to the ring. Except for Sam. Sam's the only one, but granted, he holds it for like 10 minutes. So, there's a lot about Frodo that I love, and he's a great character. I don't think you should hate Frodo, okay? That's my statement of the day.
You know the bit in The Hobbit when they're walking through Mirkwood?
Yes.
That scene in the book is so much scarier to me than
for
in the
sure.
movie. I just thought of that when you guys were talking about the differences.
Yeah.
How is it scary?
They're like so afraid of like what's in the forest that they like put their fire out so that they can't see it.
Oh my god.
There's like the like the spiders are watching them and they keep seeing like glowing eyes in the darkness and they're too afraid to like relight their fire to see what it is.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And then they're like trying to talk to these elves they keep seeing, and the elves keep leaving, and they're just like, we just want out of the forest, please help us.
No, they don't just leave. They like freaking vanish.
Yeah, they vanish.
Because they hear they're on they get off the road, and you know that the whole point is like, don't get off the road in Mirkwood. But they hear like music and they see fire in the distance, and they're like, let's go. So they go over there. Then suddenly the fire is put out and everything is dark, and they're just running around all over the place. And that's ultimately how they end up getting caught by the spiders, except for Thorin, who trips on something and knocks himself out and gets kidnapped by the elves.
Yeah.
That book is so great. I love it.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've read it. But
you should.
It's
really
always remember
quick read.
enjoying the absolute shit out of reading it. So.
That's that book also has some like whammy scenes. Just that whole exchange between Bilbo and Smaug is so good because in the movie they made it kind of like a dumb luck thing that Bilbo survived. But in the book, every single thing that Bilbo does, it's like 3D chess. He's like reading this dragon for filth. Like he draws him out and he like makes him answer all of his questions without actually telling anything to him. Because it's like at this moment that Bilbo is like, I'm an adventurer, I can do this. But
that's cool.
Yeah. Then he gets his ass knocked out right before the Battle of Five Armies before he can make any meaningful contribution.
It's good. It's a good time.
We love Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
That Middle Earth one shot was so damn fun.
Yeah,
I'm glad you guys liked
it. That whole system was super cool.
Yeah.
I have completely adapted traveling rules into my
That's
games.
good.
We're gonna start using it with Evenfall when we're not on a boat.
Yeah.
But I started using it for our in-person at home not streamed Thursday game. Wednesday. It's Wednesday now because we had to switch our Wednesday game, and it's so much fun. Just the fact that there's little prompts for the characters to do while they're traveling, and then you can't long rest until you get to a safe place immediately makes travel so much more fun.
And
for sure.
like we were traveling a pretty far distance. We were going like 10 days away from where we were, and like people were slowly getting angry at other members of the party just because of like little tics that they have that they noticed throughout the traveling. And like Marshall's character was like so like angry with everyone that he was constantly playing his flute to just drown out the sound of everyone. And Sabin's character hated the sound of like the mechanical whirring of my still defender, and just for 2 days after we actually got into the town, he just hated Perry.
Yeah,
and
because it was such a bad journey because it was really rough.
There was like a storm, and then we like got off the road.
Fought a dragon that had been hunting you for forever.
Oh,
that was before we left, but
they were there was a dragon who lived in the Feywild who kept his horde away from his lair because he was smart and didn't want people to find his horde. If he attack his home because it's where he kept all of his stuff. They found his horde before his lair, didn't know, took stuff from the lair, and this dragon, his name was Varigol, hunted them for forever. They finally killed him, but on this journey. And he had also killed Colton's character previously.
Dang.
So, yeah. So after that, and then what had happened was mechanically they were getting little forms of madness because they were suffering from, because there's no shadow points in D&D, so I just went with madness instead. So there was little ticks that they were doing. They were getting angry at each other for because the journey was going so terribly, and they were not finding food, and it was really rough. And by the time they got there, it was a fun roleplay moment because everybody was like, we're so tired and we hate each other, that we did a whole bit where they got to a tavern and they got to long rest and get rid of all of their negatives, and I had a whole tavern menu and everything, and everybody was like picking things that their character was eating, and they're like, this probably tastes so good, and I was like, this is so fun. Everyone would just be like, yeah, we long rested, who cares, we're at the place, it doesn't matter. It was so fun because it created this little moment for all the characters to be like, oh, this is so satisfying to get to, which I love about it.
When rules can facilitate storytelling like that, those are the moments that make D&D
ludonarrative gameplay.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing ever is when rules can create really interesting story bits that make you go, oh, I need to do this, but also it makes sense for your character as well. It's like, oh, it's all aligned. It's great. We had a bit like that in actually, I can't talk about this.
Oh,
this is one of our Saturday games, so I can't do it. Do you remember when we were?
You gonna try to say it without saying it?
Yes.
The one.
Okay. The thing that we did with you and Colton, and he was doing the thing, and he had to keep doing the thing.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll explain that later. Sorry, everybody.
I loved it when that happened.
Yeah.
It's my favorite part.
Yeah. Okay, we've time traveled forward where Craig has edited the bit that I wanted to tell Jack about. Don't worry, guys. In like a few weeks, we'll be able to unveil everything.
We do
I
our
promise.
session 0 for one of them on
what it is.
Thursday. We're doing a little session 0 for one of those
fun
times with some redacted people that we can't talk about.
Yep. Oh boy!
I heard that Ralph is going to be there.
Ralph.
I didn't know you met Ralph yet.
No.
Ralph was in the first game of Avnia with Jack.
Mm-hmm.
You remember? Jack and Ralph?
No. Don't remember that.
That sounds like Mick and Ralph from from New Vegas.
Fucking
you just walk up and you
forget Mick and Ralph's because of that stupid kid that stands in that corner who's always like, come on over to Mick and Ralph's. And I'm like, then there's the rat running by him and I'm like, fuck this rat.
Aww.
But no, you kill the rat.
So the kid eats it.
Eats it, and you're like,
I know.
I love Freeside.
Yeah. Is that Liam O'Brien?
The kid.
That's me throughout that whole game.
Yeah.
Liam O'Brien is like 70% of the characters.
Playing that game pre-Critical Role, and that's how I measure my life. Playing Fallout New Vegas pre-Critical Role and playing Fallout New Vegas post-Critical Role. Because now I'm like, that's Liam O'Brien. Yeah. That's Laura Bailey. That's Sam Riegel voicing like all 7 ghouls.
Yeah, he's all the ghouls. Imagine you met Liam O'Brien and you're like, I'm a big fan. And he's like, oh yeah, you like Caleb? And he was like, no. And I was like, oh, you like Vax? And you're like, no. I love the way you say, the Mojave makes me
patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter.
Yeah. And he's like, okay.
A little weird. We watched Avengers last night because we're rewatching all of them, and just seeing Ashley Johnson. She's like, she's so little, and that was
pre-Critical Role.
Yeah, pre-Critical Role.
We're watching all. My parents haven't seen them, and so they want to watch them every Sunday, and we're going through the whole MCU again. The first Avengers is really cheesy.
Yeah,
it is a cheese fest, and also it's written by Joss Whedon, so it's not bad, but it ain't fantastic. Everybody loves the first Avengers. I'm just like, meh.
Yeah, I just like that they all like connect.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Anyway.
And also, Black Widow's character isn't ruined in that movie, like it is in Age of Ultron. Remember that?
I do remember that.
You remember that one?
I do.
Do you remember that GIF where it's the Hulk
No.
and